Hi, this is Mr. Kays, and we're going to start chapter 3.1 with movement of people and ideas. Now, the first group we're going to be talking about are these Indo-Europeans. Indo, India. European, European. They're going to migrate or move. Now, what allows them or makes them move? We've got the idea that they are semi-nomadic. Semi means kind of, or half. Semi-nomadic people from the northern region of Europe, of the Caucasus mountain ranges. Caucasus meaning light skin. And these folks were herders. They were pastoral people. They worked in the pastures. And they roamed the eastern and western steppes, or dry grasslands, of Asia. Now we know where they went, because we can trace their languages that they spoke. Some are similar to others. And we can say, must have been the Indo-Europeans that came by, because we can understand some of your words. And so through that we can trace migrations. It's almost like Hansel and Gretel leaving breadcrumbs in the forest to find their way back. Well, you can see the Indo-Europeans kind of left a trail to follow with their languages that they spoke. We really don't know why they migrated or they moved. Probably just to get green grass for their herds. Who knows? Okay, now you've got a group of folks from ancient Turkey called the Hittites. And they are in, as I said, present-day Turkey, but ancient Anatolia or Asia Minor, near the Black Sea and near the Sea of Marmara. And the Hittites were some bad dudes. They used mineral deposits to make iron. They were involved in cultural diffusion, the borrowing of the best of other cultures. They built an army that included chariots and iron weapons, and so with being so superior, they were able to rule for almost 1,000 years, about 900 years, and they were finally taken over by tribes from the north. Light-skinned folks from the Caucasus Mountains are going to go southeast. They're called the Aryans. They're going to cross over the treacherous Hindu Kush mountain range through the Khyber Pass, remember it from last chapter, to invade the Indus River cities. Since they were light-skinned, they were going to intermingle with the dark-skinned Indians, and they're going to leave their culture behind. Their religion included sacred literature called Vedas, including a famous passage called the Rig Veda, which were your hymns. Each people had to fall into a certain social class. You've got the Brahmins at the very top, who were the priestly tribes. Then you have the warriors, which I think are called the Kshatriyas. Then you have the peasants and traders, the Vaisyas. And then you have the Shudras, who did the undesirable work. They were the lowest folks on the caste or the social ladder. I can't call it caste system. It's going to develop into a caste system. Now, it is hereditary, which means you're born into it, and static, which means you can't rise or or fall. So you're born into a certain class order, and that's who you marry, that's the job you have, that's the pay you have, etc., etc. The untouchables were so called because they were the lowest of the low. They were outside the caste system, and they got the worst of the jobs, they got the worst of the pay, and that's the way it was. Okay. As we begin to finish, we're seeing a story that is going to tell the struggle of the Aryans coming in to invade. It's called the Mahabharata, and it is a piece of literature in which you have war between the light-skinned and the dark-skinned folks, and war between cousins. They're on either side of the battlefield. And what we're experiencing here is cultural diffusion and a blending of cultures to develop, well, what we know today is Hindu culture. In the story, you have Arjuna, who is the hero of the story. And he's looking over the battlefield and he's seeing on the other side the troops. And he's lamenting or moaning the fact that he has to go to war against the enemy, who happens to be his kinsmen or his cousins. And he's kind of telling his troubles to a chariot driver. And the chariot driver is disguised as a chariot driver. It's, in essence, Lord Krishna, who is one of their gods. And Krishna says, in essence, to Arjuna, look, chill out, guys, or chill out, Arjuna. Is there any time where you were not? And is there any time where you will cease to be? In essence, we're talking about reincarnation. You have to do your duty. You have to do your duty and fight. Whether you kill them or not, well, that's in the hands of the gods. But you have to do your duty. So there's an example of the origins of what we're going to see as reincarnation in Hinduism. Well, this is the end of 3.1. It's been fun, and I'll see you down the river. Bye-bye.